Welcome back, Thundercats fans ho! Now that the 25th issue of Thundercats is already out, I have lots to talk about with you guys. It's called The Revelations, and it already looks so interesting from the cover alone. It has been on sale since 25th of March 2026. Weird how the time flies so quickly, right? In other words, the recently released issue is the continuation of Thundercats 24. In our last video, we already discussed the 24th issue of the comic book, aptly titled Book of Omens, which was released in February 2026. To recap, the 24th issue explored the truth that Jaga had always been hiding from the generations of Thunderians, which is later disclosed by the Book of Omens, with the crucial repository of the secrets of Thundercats. Now that Liono has assumed the position of Lord of Thundercats and finally opens the book after he claims ownership of the Sword of Omens, it takes place just after the confrontation with his grizzled future version, Apex.
What's interesting is that the Book of Omens is not a mere artifact, rather the opening of this ancient relic unleashes bitter truths and origin stories about the long-time foes and allies of the Thundercats, as well as the ancestors of the community and the great wars of thunder that shape the whole conflicting situation that the Thunderians have been facing, and thus becomes instrumental in expanding the lore. Not only that, but also the book discloses one of the most surprising truths that shakes Liono's soul. The Third Earth is the original birthplace of Thunderians, which was positioned by Mum-Ra against the natives eons ago. The book then also reveals that the Third Age of Thunder is taking place, and hence it becomes the responsibility of Liono to unite all the Thundercats before they are met with another doom that can twist the fate of Thunderians forever. If you have not yet watched our last video about Book of Omens, we've included the link to the video in our description box, so don't forget to check it out. However, in today's issue, we see Liono facing yet another difficulty as he sees all the other Thundercats teaming up against their own leader today. Why does it happen, and how is it resolved? Join me today as I take it upon myself to answer all these questions as we explore the 25th issue in detail. So without any further ado, let's begin today's video. The recently released issue is also penned by Declan Shalvey and illustrated by Drew Moss, the original creators who have put their hands to over 20 issues of the comic series. However, the audience should prepare for a narrative centered on a major conflict as they open the 25th issue of the Thundercats. In fact, the readers witness the irony of a hero pursuing the truth about his people's history, only to be torn apart by the harsh reality that unfolds. Ever since the destruction of his home world, he had always pondered the history of Thunderians and his place among them due to his relation with Claudus, the supreme ancestral member of the community. And now that his cloud of oblivion has been cleared, the pensive Liono thus goes on looking for Jaga. Tigra tries to soothe him and offer help, but still Liono backs away. Tigra still attempts to intervene, due to which the tension escalates, and Liono behaves erratically, knocking Tigra away from his place. This physical shoving from Liono's end enrages Chitara, who runs to help Tigra. She furiously remarks that Liono is not leading, but shoving, and that observation alone explains the psychological toll on a child in an adult's body as he discovers the truth about his own history. And since the team is now realizing that the child they once knew is now turning into a bully, they are all engulfed by rage. Chitara thus challenges Liono to try shoving her. However, Liono disagrees, saying that he wishes to confront only Jaga since he hid the ultimate truth from him. He yells at Jaga, forcing him to disclose how Slythe's son Scale arrived, how mutants came on Third Earth, what the Third Earth actually is to the Thunderians, and how Bengali and the Lost Thundercats were sent to the planet before they were all made to flee the destruction of the planet. Jaga, however, stays silent and watches him from afar. Chitara tries to soothe Liono, saying that Jaga is worthy of trust since they are all a family. She then requests that Jaga address Liono's concerns by folding her hands in deep respect. Shockingly enough, after moments of a deep pause, Jaga unleashes fury. He yells at Chitara, saying he won't address these gross accusations. He then accuses Liono of being a whelp, who doesn't know of his responsibilities as the Lord of the Thundercats, because he broke the very sword that was passed down to him, Sword of Omens, and allowed his team to be injured in the battle. He then says that Liono is undeserving of his title and orders the Thundercats to take him into custody. Since Jaga is the right hand of Claudus, the Thundercats unwillingly prepare themselves to capture Liono. However, Liono takes out his sword and asks them to either join hands with him or face his wrath. The Thundercats thus start fighting amongst themselves, while Jaga recounts how Liono has learned so many things without his presence, and how he has always been a selfish person. Jaga then says that since he has only caused hardship since his return, he doesn't want that kind of legacy to befall his descendants. He silently watches his children clash among themselves across the panels, and then later screams, "Enough!" So so that he can put an end to their never-ending brawl. He unleashes his powers, falling weak on the ground and sacrificing himself. Liono rushes to him and holds him in his arms, while Jaga admits that it's his fault that he rushed to anger. He then claims that Liono was right to be angry, as he has always hidden the truth from his descendants, and being a leader does not absolve him of rage. Liono cries his eyes out, hoping that he could have gotten more time to confront Jaga about the truth he's just discovered. And as Jaga dissociates into the air, he reminds the mournful Liono that he will always be with him, not as he has been, but in a form that he should be, and will be found when Liono needs him desperately and looks to where it is the darkest. It all hints at something profound. Jaga will be playing a major role as Liono faces off against Mum-Ra and the other adversaries in the coming future to ensure the safety of the Thunderians. After Jaga's tragic disappearance, Liono gathers all the Thundercats and tells them the truth. He speaks about how the Book of Omens unraveled the truth before him, that the Third Earth is their original home place, and they are not refugees, but native to the planet. He then reveals that Jaga brought them to the planet of their origin, of course, because he had good intentions in his mind, and hence, their arrival on Third Earth was no accident. He then commands the Thundercats to locate the survivors of Australis. To this, Tiger responds with shock. Chitara asks if they should tell Bengali about all this, but Liono says that since he's been banished and his team of lost Thundercats is already struggling without his presence in the lost hands of Third Earth to fend for themselves, he must not be burdened with this information. Liono then commands Tigra to inform Panthro about the same. He then commands Cubs to create a detailed itinerary of the items found in the treasures of Thundera, insisting that his companion Snarf shall assist her. He, however, gives Chitara no work to do, which is met with disappointment. He then commands Kalika to investigate Mum-Ra's Black Pyramid because it has links to the Thunderians. Kalika grows concerned, saying that her team consisted only of her and Jaga. However, Liono says that the Cubs will join them. He then says that as for Jaga, they will find him only if they truly understand him. Liono then declares that from this moment onwards, since this planet is their true home, they won't be mere survivors, but protectors, ensuring the safety of the Thunderians. He then proclaims that the Third Earth will be called New Thundera, and they will fight together to drive off the invaders who are invading their true homeland. The 25th issue of Thundercats thus concludes with Liono transforming into a commander who manages all of the big responsibilities of the Thunderians. However, this is not the end, as we see the sneak previews of Thundercats vs Silverhawks, which looks pretty interesting. It is not just any preview, the preview is of Bengali of Thundercats and Chromium of Silverhawks facing off against each other in a legendary fight, after exchanging really iconic introductory dialogues with each other. Funnily enough, a Vultureman intervenes in their fight, but is knocked away by Bengali and Chromium, who are busy battling with each other. Either way, the glimpses of the exemplary crossover between the two sister worlds look very interesting, and honestly, I'm already losing my patience. So, that's it for today, guys. What do you feel about the recently released issue? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you guys love this video, make sure you drop a like and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates. I will see you in the next video. Until then, Thundercats ho!